Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So this week, you're going to be working on a DBQ. And the whole point of the DBQ is that it's going to give us an essay, and you need to practice your ability to justify evidence using the writing. Your topic this week is going to be early Jamestown. Why did so many colonists die during the early years of Jamestown? So, we're going to start with the background essay. The background essay is going to tell us about what happened in Jamestown. Your job, as this goes on, is to write the main idea of the passage. Okay, you're going to write that on that Google form that I'm going to send out. So it tells us, in the spring of 1607, 3 English ships carrying more than 100 passengers, and I might highlight that because 100 passengers seems pretty significant, sailed into the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay and worked their way up the James River. Hopes were high, and with many good reason. This was to be the first permanent English settlement in the New World. A strong group of English investors stood behind the enterprise. The King of England, James I, had given the colonizers his blessings. Along the riverbanks, one could see freshwater streams, fair meadows, and goodly tall trees. Ahead lay possible riches, a native population to be taught the ways of Jesus Christ, and maybe even a hidden trade route to China. So if I'm you, and I'm thinking about the main idea, I might think of those 3 G's, right? We have gold, God, and glory. Our gold would be the natural resources, right? God to convert the natives, and glory to bring glory to the crown. Over here is an image of the Roanoke landing, and we'll talk about why that's important in just a second. It was true that there were dangers. A Spanish warship or two would not be a surprise. Also, the English had experienced a recent failure on nearby Roanoke Island. We learned about that one on Friday. In fact, all of the Roanoke colonists had mysteriously disappeared, but in 1607, those were acceptable risks. So, if I was you, I might write down something like, why was this an acceptable risk? Because I don't know about you, but losing a couple hundred people would not be something that I was willing to do, right? If I lost 100 students, I would not still have a job as a teacher. What was probably more important is that the fair meadows and goodly tall trees of the Chesapeake were not empty. Some 15,000 Powhatan Indians lived in a small village among and around the James River. They were loosely ruled by a great chief named Wahunsonacock. One of this guy's daughters was Pocahontas. Now this guy in short is usually called Powhatan after the tribe, and we're probably going to stick with that just because I'm probably mispronouncing his name, and I don't want to spend 50 minutes just mispronouncing his name. So this guy is a super powerful chief, okay? He is going to declare war on the colonists in a little bit, and we're going to see just how powerful his tribe is. So when the English settlers arrived, they built a fort on a place they called James Island. This was to become Jamestown. Of the 110 original settlers, only 40 would be alive at the end of December. The arrival in January of a resupply ship saved the colony from total collapse. But in the next 2 years, hard times continued. Captain John Smith, who had provided much of the leadership, was sent back to England. And then there was a winter where 2/3 of the entire settlement died. Remember, 2/3 of 100 people is pretty dramatic, right? Again, if I lost those kind of numbers, I would not be on this video right now. Remarkably, the English kept coming, men, women, and children. The vast majority were young, 17 to 35, and most were poor. They hoped to work to pay off their debt and one day own a piece of land. A few arrived with money, and some would one day find success growing tobacco, but for most there were no happy endings. By 1611, of the more than 500 settlers who arrived at Jamestown, 80% were dead. Those of you who are good at math will get bonus points if you can tell me how many people that is. So what's truly amazing is that this colony survived. Those English, both in Jamestown and back in the mother country, were a determined bunch. Our focus is not on the survival, but on the near destruction. In a mini-Q, these 5 documents will tell part of the story, but that's the challenge. So you're going to examine the documents, and then answer the question, early Jamestown, why did so many colonists die? So your assignment for the first part of today is to go through each of these documents. And then what you are going to do is answer 2 questions of your choice on each of these documents. This will demonstrate that you understand what is going on in this DBQ. That's how we're going to spend today. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, good luck.